Hi, friends, and welcome back. This is the third week of the Play Along Journal series, a series where I work through a journal from beginning to end and take you along for every step of the way. If you don't have your own Play Along journal yet, orders are open for round 2 on my website right now. So head over there, check that out so you can get your hands on one and play along with all of us. Make sure you're on my email list to be the first to know about all of the new goodies and freebies and all of that fun stuff. I try to link all of the products that I use in the description below. Please let me know if I missed anything and I can find out where that is from. So I'm starting out here. I have a black piece of paper on the right side and a paint swatch on the left. So I know I need to bring some light into that right side of the page. I am starting off with some white gesso with a dry brush and just really brushing that gesso onto the page. I am not using too much of the paint because I do want to see that black paper coming through the gesso. So this almost gives a distressed type of appearance, especially using that dry brush because we see more of those brush strokes and kind of that scratchy appearance to the gesso. Now I want to bring in some scribble marks. I don't want that white to look anything too pristine. Bringing the scribble marks on top of the white just to kind of loosen things up, get my creative brain flowing, and I'm taking a step back here and just evaluating what I want to do on the page. I'm looking around my desk, seeing if anything pops out, if there's any supplies that I have out lingering that are a source of inspiration. So sometimes as you work, if you have a completely clean desk, it can actually be a little bit harder. So before you start, maybe bring out a few things that can be inspiration, whether it's a collage fodder bowl with scraps, or maybe some scraps of fabric that you have, or a certain embellishment that you want to use in your spread. You can bring that out around you, and just having it out can be inspiring. You may not even necessarily use that one thing, but it can kind of jog your memory and be like, oh, right, I have this. Maybe this would work. So it just helps you to have ideas and kind of run with them. Now I am pulling from my paper scrap basket and going to be doing a little bit of collage on the right side of the page. I'm not being too precise or exact, and I don't really have um, too much going on in my head right now of what I want this page to look like. I'm trying to feel it out as I go along and just see what pops out for me. I'm bringing my solid paint marker here and adding in some yellow to kind of tie in that left side of the page. Like spread number 2, I'm going to be leaving that side basically alone. I love the paint swatch there, and I think it is a source of intrigue just on its own without me doing anything more to it. I definitely could bring in that collage element onto the left side, and I think it would look wonderful, but I am going to just leave it plain and kind of do whatever I'm doing to the page just on the right side. I'm seeing what other collage bits might look good on the left side. Um, Ripping the papers and playing around. Sometimes it helps to actually just start ripping your papers down into smaller pieces. If we leave everything too big, it's hard for our mind's eye to see how things are going to look. So if we can kind of just tear it down and start playing on the page with what it's going to look like, I think that can be fun. I'm added in a little bit of Stabilo All Pencil and going to grunge that up a little bit. I think that kind of brings the black paper from the background into the foreground a little bit. And this helps to soften the edges of that collage. So instead of the collage looking like it's just sitting on top, it kind of ebbs and flows into the background. I'm thinking that this page needs some text as the main focal point. And so I'm using one of my quotes that I've already have cut out. And if you're interested in having some of those quotes, I compiled a PDF of different quotes that are all related to art. You can download that for free. I will put the link in the description below. This is a nice resource just to have on hand. When I'm working, I don't like to stop and go type something up. Um, I like to have them already done. So a lot of times I will type these up on the typewriter or I will do it on the computer in a different font, cut them up, and then I have them on hand when I'm ready to use them. I do that actually with a lot of my art journaling supplies. So different fodder that I may be making or different elements, I'll actually make them all in a batch and then they're ready for when I want to art journal. I did a little bit of black gesso around that quote just to kind of grunge up that that quote a little bit, and actually the black around it helps it stand out from the background a little bit more. I'm adding in that little piece of fabric just as a fun little element off the side, using my stapler to attach that to the page. Playing around with the placement of that quote a little bit, deciding whether I want to keep everything kind of grouped together at the bottom or if I want to put it up at the top. Just seeing where that should go. I'm adding glue onto the back so I can adhere that. And I actually decided that the glue stick probably would not be enough because of that fabric piece. If it was just the paper on its own, the glue stick would be just fine. Just adding a little bit of stronger glue just to make sure that that will stay even after flipping through the journal and all that. I want everything that I put on the page to be pretty well permanent. I'm holding that piece in place just for a little bit just to make sure it can dry on there. All right, the glue is pretty much dry, and I think that's it for this spread. It was a pretty simple one again, but I like the outcome and I am happy with how everything turned out. I decided at the end here just to bring a little bit of that yellow back into the foreground. I realized that I ended up covering up most of it with my collage elements. And there we have it. I hope that you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time for the fourth spread in our journal. And I hope that you have a great rest of your day. See you next time.